Hey guys, Andrew Froese here again for Happiness, Help, and Hope. Don't mind me. I started recording this and now my eyebrow is super itchy, so we're gonna do this in real time and just scratch my face because, oh, see, look at that. Happened again, so not perfect, but oh well. Anyways, I was thinking about some things today and actually just had a wonderful bowl of pho just before getting out to the park right now. It was delicious. There's a place just at the edge of Kitchener, Ontario called Pho Bistro. Super nice people there. Gave me a big, huge vegetable pho and it just like hit the spot really, really well. So, a little thank you to shout out for them, I guess. Or I don't think I'd ever use the word shout out in a video, but it's already been done. So, what can you do? But yeah, that was just a perfect part of the evening. Now, the thing I was thinking about actually when I was kind of just sitting there and eating my food tonight was I thought a lot of things about like my old mindset. And a big thing about my old mindset was the language that I used to use like, on a regular basis. I was sitting there and some people actually came in and they were like chatting and it was just like curse word after curse word after curse word after F-bomb after this after that. And I was like, I used to sound like this. This used to be me. I used to talk like this. I worked in a warehouse. I worked on a bunch of places, bars, nightclubs, all kinds of things like that. And it got to the point where like swearing was like an art. I could literally slur everything together in one sentence that you didn't even think was possible and probably shouldn't have been possible. Because just by sitting there and just kind of realizing it, I was like, man, I used to be so negative. And just even like hearing things described, and I was like, I used to do the same thing. I used to describe things that way, and then wonder why things in my life didn't get better, and then I would curse them out, and curse this out, and curse this other person out. And I think I finally like really realized within the last, I would say about maybe 6 months to a year, probably the last 6 months, maybe even the last three, actually, to be completely honest, that excuse me, sorry, faux for a second. But anyways, back to topic. The language that I actually used to use versus the language I use now has such a huge impact on what happens in my life. Like, I met a whole bunch of new people today when I was out at work that were really nice, had some wonderful conversations, met some people at the gym. I got some compliments from some people because I was just doing some fluid body movements, and then I had some people comment and like some really positive things on like my right arm and my chest. I have all sleeved up with a lot of Egyptian things on there. And just like meeting new people just through compliments, and then I'm complimenting their tattoos back, and we're talking. I was like, you know what, before I never would have talked like that to them. I would have said something like, "Drop, oh yeah, this is like dope or whatever," and like yeah, this is, and I would just, I would curse and swear and use that to like describe what I have. Instead, I use different language, and now I'm getting a different result using that different language. And I can honestly say it's been pulling new things in and a lot of better things into my life. So like I met a couple of really, really nice people today that were super positive, and they're like, have a great workout, and I hope you do too. And we already finished it up, and just like, oh, like that's really cool what you're doing, or like, I was doing some things that were like Tai Chi movements, and like, that's really awesome, and just like paying me compliments, and I was like, like thank you so much for doing that, like it's so nice. And then we kind of get into it, and the one guy I ended up talking to after the gym and just kind of talking about the universe and how things go and just how things work out. And he even said, like, I noticed from what you were doing and how you were talking that like you were a different person and like a different kind of individual, and I really wanted to talk to you because of it. And I was like, thank you. Like, I didn't really realize until after that moment today that I was like, oh man, like, okay, so yeah, I have changed a lot. And then now sitting down in pho and just eating that, or pho, technically the proper pronunciation, like, you know what, that is how much I've changed. The change has been like gigantic, if not a bigger word that should be used right now to describe it. But then the results in my life have been just as good. So if I can lead any inspiration for you, is if you listen to the words that you use, and you're not liking the outcome of the things that are happening in your life, especially with the words you use to describe them, especially if you kind of catch yourself like, maybe I curse a lot, or maybe I use a lot of negative things to describe something, and then say that I hope it gets better, but the first thing I put out was negative. I had like a huge revelation even with my best friend and his girlfriend. We were talking on the phone and I was telling her to switch up what she was doing. So to literally lead with something about being positive. Like she was talking about, there's negative things that always do happen in the universe. Or like that can happen. I was like, well, if you actually swap it around and you lead with something that's positive, now your new expectation is the first thing that comes out is positivity. And then if something negative happens, it's a lot easier to just kind of like rebound off your shoulder and just like, kick it to the wind and not let it bug you or hold you down in your day. And, it was a really fun conversation to have, because it also reminds me that I have to make sure that I keep that principle up as well. Because like if I can't keep that up either, I will fall guilty to that just as much as anyone else would. Right? If I don't lead with positive and I lead with something that's negative, and all of a sudden I get more negative back, the hard truth of the matter is it's my own fault. And you know what? It's hard for me to admit that sometimes. And it was hard for me to admit that for many years. I never wanted anything to be my fault. I always had something else to blame. But the matter of the fact was, it was. And I had literally been drawing things to me without even realizing it. So, with everything being said right now, if you guys, take a minute or two, maybe evaluate conversations you had in the day, conversation you had with a friend, girlfriend, and some, like coworker, like someone at the gym, somewhere else where maybe you interact with people, or maybe even just a conversation that you had with yourself to yourself. Because the more positivity you can put in there, especially, I would say, when you talk to yourself, the better your results are going to be. And then the more happiness that you're going to be able to receive, just because you're now putting positivity into you, and you're going to create that new happiness and that light. And then that happiness and that light is going to start resonating out of you as well. And then it's going to bring you even more happiness, because now you're on the frequency of happiness. So if you're on the frequency of happiness, I think the only thing that's going to be able to respond to you is happiness. And the other stuff, you're going to kind of notice it start to swing out of your path. Like, you might not be able to have some of the same conversations with certain people, because you're like, maybe I don't want this anymore, because now maybe this is just, it's too negative, or, maybe I don't want this in my life anymore. And I had to realize that with some people as well. And the more I've changed that, I can 100% tell you it has benefited my life. I've had less stress. I've had a lot less things that happened that like held me down, and I've had so many more moments where even if something quickly happened that was negative, things would just kind of like just sporadically jump out and give me all this like warmth and happiness and positivity that would just lift me right back up. And it's amazing. Like, it is such a good feeling, and I really hope you guys can all achieve that. Have that in your day, every single day, whether it's waking up in the morning, going to bed, like all that time frame, even in your thoughts while you're sleeping. And that's subconscious. If you can have those happy thoughts in your subconscious while you go to bed, because there's definitely ways, and there's people out there that will actually share how to retrain your subconscious mind so that it can give you things that actually will start happening in your day-to-day life, like wherever you can or whatever you feel comfortable to. Like, any step forward is progress. So whether it's just a pinky toe on the fence of getting into there, or you're going to dive 2 feet into that pool and you're going all the way, whatever it is, as long as you make some kind of step forward, it's going to benefit you. So don't judge yourself on how big or how small. As long as you put forth the energy and try, it will get better, and it will continue to get better. And I hope that it just brings you like that smile and warmth and happiness that like I have. I'm outside right now and it's freezing cold, and I'm still happy. And I still have a tummy full of hot soup, so that probably helps too. But small thing, super grateful for. I was very happy that I was able to get that from them. And you know what? I hope I can share this with you to make a difference in your day. And you know what? Especially to some of those who I've talked to recently and been informed of, like, even some people that I met who had friends or family members or other people that are going through like a loss, or they're going through something that's really detrimental right now. Even met a guy when I was out for work, and he's going to a funeral, and he's like, I'm really sorry for it. Like, I'm sorry to hear that happened, and that's what he's going through today. Like, it's a beautiful day, and he's got to go out and go to a funeral and watch, something that usually isn't comfortable. For lack of other words, I would say it's definitely not usually comfortable to go to a funeral and go over things like that. But what I will say is, if you can even use some of this stuff while going through funerals, while going through mourning and loss, just even little bits here and there, it will get better. I know it will. I have gone through mourning and loss myself, and I don't wish it upon anyone. I know it's this thing that happens in life that, it's inevitable. Like, we all pass away. But at the same time, I do wish the best for all of you, and, the least amount of mourning and loss as possible. But the greatest amount of celebration in life as well, too, because there's so many people that I've been privileged to know, even for a short period of time, and they have made big impacts on my life. And I would like to say thank you to them, the ones that are still here and the ones that are not here anymore, because you have really affected me. And I truly realize, even in this moment right now when we're talking, like, it's gonna make me choke up a little bit, but it's true. So, thank you guys for letting me share this. This is actually something that's a little bit harder than I realized for myself, but I hope it helps all of you. I know certain things aren't easy, but it gets better. So with that being said, have a wonderful weekend. I hope you guys all have a great time. Share some time with family, friends, whoever else. Go do something wonderful. Football season's on now. So myself, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, so some people might be up or down with that one, but whatever. Diehard fan since Brett Favre, and I'm okay with that. But just go out and do something great. Do something for you. All right? Thank you guys. Have a wonderful night. Take care.